Hello everyone and welcome to Quality Simplified. Friends, we always see a lot of activities taking place around us. Not all of them would be of our interest, but it will be certainly of interest to someone. Else, why would anyone keep themselves engaged in such activities? At times, you may not be interested in this activity, but who knows? The output may reach you as a customer. All these activities which are taking place around us without any interruption has certain essential elements which are common throughout. All these elements put together forms a process, a term mentioned number of times when we speak of quality or quality management system. If you remember our recent videos, we have said that product design and process are two critical pillars of quality. So it's very important that we understand what process is all about. All these elements being in right shape, at right place, in right time is very important if you want outcome to be right. Also, process, like I said, is ever on in various forms around us, which only means that it occupies an unavoidable space in all three walks of life for us: personal, public, and professional life. So it also means process is not a term used only in professional life. It's not a term which is alien to our life at all. Process could be used for producing product or delivering service. So let's understand more about what process is all about using examples from all walks of life. Welcome again. Let us understand what process is all about. Before we proceed, let me share with you that these are purely my thoughts based on my experience in quality for 3 decades. I don't claim that this is the knowledge on quality. All viewers are free to have their own views on the subject, and I would be too happy to know your views, comments, so that we all can help each other improving our understanding of quality. Also, examples used here are with certain assumptions for the sake of ease of explanation. Viewers are requested to keep it in mind while watching this video. Let's proceed further. Before we proceed, as per our practice, let's just reiterate 3 action points, 3 mantras for delivering quality to our target customer. The first one is know or identify your customer, target customer. Understand their requirements, preferably in advance, which helps you to plan better in delivering quality. If we can get it directly from customer, that would be a best possible scenario. And the third one is strive to satisfy these requirements. To deliver a good quality, we must remember and practice them to make it a way of life, part of our DNA. As you can see from schematic, any process has certain main elements. Input. This could be a substance, matter like liquid, gas, steel, chemical. Energy, which could be electricity, heat, mechanical energy like pressure, and information input would be at what temperature the heating has to take place in process, etc., etc. Input could be given by external source, supplier, or even customer. It could be an output of earlier process also. If there are series of processes before final output useful for customer is obtained, in such case, output of first process will always be a input to next process and so on. Activity. This would mean conversion of input to output using stirring, heating, cooling, cutting, data processing, shaping, mixing, operations, etc. Output. It could again be in the form of matter, that is steel, metal, liquid, gas, vapor, etc. It could be energy, which could be like steam with temperature and pressure, or electricity getting generated from a generator. Information could be output, which could be in the form of process data, which we see as, let's say, airline, air travel ticket, train reservation, etc., etc. This output can be an input to next process also if it is a series of process like I mentioned before. One more critical element, which is most important of all, is monitoring and measuring of a process. For example, when you're buying a ticket for travel, the system many times will ask, is the data which is shown on screen correct? And if it is so, please put a tick mark. This is what it means, that when the process is internally on, there is a continuous monitoring. This monitoring always helps to avoid deviation, which can be corrected than getting an incorrect output and rejecting it, scrapping it, leading to loss of resource. Let us start with an example from professional world wherein we are manufacturing a product, that is utensil used in cooking. The input would be steel sheet, round in shape, pressure energy, electrical energy, and there will be an information input also like size, thickness of a sheet, etc. These inputs would be given by customer. Activity, all operations required for manufacturing utensil from a steel sheet. Output will be again, as we mentioned, it will be a utensil. There will not be any energy output, but there will be an information output like what is the size and shape of a utensil we are taking as output. Receiver of output would be customer. Controls applied in the process would be to monitor pressure used in pressing to produce utensil and control activity to ensure size of utensil. Monitoring would be if the size of utensil getting developed is as expected or not. Let us discuss example of data processing where output is intangible. This would help us to understand how process is instrumental in providing service in personal world as well as professional world. Let's use an example of airline ticket booking in personal life. This process operates in two stages, and the output of stage 1 would be an input to stage 2. Stage 1, in which customer would enter the travel details and personal details, and system will show available flight options for customer to choose from. Stage 2, once a specific option is selected by customer, payment will be completed and ticket would be given as a final output. So let us discuss stage 1. Input here would be electricity, which is used for running computer system, information, that is personal and travel details for booking of a ticket. Customer would be a source of input here. Activity would be computer system using data checks internally the options available and it presents it on the screen to customer. The output would be no matter or energy output, but information, that is available flight options as per customer's request. In stage 2, which will choose finalize option and buy ticket by completing payment, the input would be no matter or hard input, energy again electricity which is used for running computer system, and information, that is chosen flight options for buying a final ticket. Also, there will be credit card details for payments. Here, the output of earlier process is used by choosing a flight as an input. Input would come from customer as mentioned before. Using information provided, computer would process the payment and give out receipt of payment and ticket. Customer will receive output as ticket, post completion of payment process and payment receipt. Energy, there may not be any energy output, but we can say that energy of customer feeling happy would be an energy output. The controls in both the cases are ensuring right travel details before final ticket is processed and printed. If we have to take a pure example of public life, let's take an example of getting a passport. The process goes on like this. Input, no hard substance, no energy. However, all the personal information as required by government to be filled in the system for application of seeking passport. Input would come from customer who wants a passport. Activity, all the information submitted by customer, applicant would be verified by government agencies, and if found okay, passport would be issued. In case of output, there will be a hard booklet which will come as a passport, which will allow applicant to travel across nation without having any difficulty. The output would be received by customer, and controls would be checks at various stages by agencies before passport is issued. From these examples, I'm sure you must be very clear now that process is not something alien. It is present in our house, day-to-day life, in public life, in professional life. It's an integral part of our life. Naturally, this is the very reason why it occupies a very critical space in satisfying target customers' requirements. That is, delivering good quality. If we control process well, quality output is assured. After having gone through the examples, now let us understand few more things about processes. Input, activity, output, and controls at each of these stages are very important elements of processes. If we continuously monitor each of these three elements, it is very likely that output would be as expected. However, it's very important that the details of input, controls, activity are so well predefined that mere compliance to it will give correct output. The definition or predefinition of input, activity, controls, etc. is called as process design, and its comprehensiveness is called as adequacy of a process. Generally, only one process does not give final output as required by customer, and there will be number of processes either in series, parallel, or in combination to get a final output. Such number of processes together is called as system. Human element is extremely important in ensuring compliance and design adequacy of a process through having adequate control at right moment when the process is running. This human intervention to control the process could be seen as a direct intervention, inputs through system switches, digitized switches for controlling the processes. Hence, commitment of human being is very important in controlling the process and defining the level of quality delivered at the end in terms of output. As mentioned before, process design is very critical in getting right output. It has very high significance, especially if the process cannot be controlled easily when the activity is in progress, and we can know the correctness of output only when the activity is over. The simplest example is cooking food at home or wherever. These are called special processes in industries. In such case, the output generally cannot be easily corrected. For example, welded joint, painted joint in case of industrial applications. Also, processes which are controlled from a remote location. For example, space launch vehicles, satellites, where the definition of process, its adequacy is extremely important. Simultaneously, compliance 100% is also important. If the design is comprehensive, correct, adequate, strict compliance will give good results. This is seen in public life when the laws of public security are adequate, strong, flawless. Its strict enforcement, compliance brings down the crime rate in society. Such adequate processes, when complied with strictly, delivers good result, good quality output without any control on output. This is nothing but quality by assurance or quality assurance. If your controls on input activity are not adequate and not enough strictly complied with, output has to be checked, and hence incorrect, undesired output coming out of it has to be scrapped, leading to loss of resource. Hence, adequacy and compliance both are important, and anyone falling short can lead to incorrect output, which is nothing but we are not able to satisfy target customers' requirement. All these elements, statements about process apply very well to all processes in public, personal, and professional life equally. So friends, with this I'm sure you are very clear about one critical element, pillar in delivering quality, which is process in any walks of life, including personal life. So before we close, thanks for listening to me till end, and I'm sure that you will keep it in mind on how process is critical pillar in delivering quality. If you like this session, please subscribe to this channel and recommend others as well to subscribe, watch and like. Also, please let me know through comments if the knowledge, information shared is helping you, and if you need any specific area to be added in future videos. So friends, with this, let's meet in next video session where we'll go one more step ahead in understanding quality. Till then, goodbye.